The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to part 2 of Propaganda, where we find out what the Wolves fans thought of our game at Elland Road at the weekend. It's brought to you with Levi Solicitors, levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball for 10% off your legal fees. To the reactions of the Wolves fans now then. And who do we have, Michael? What have you found out there on the internet, capital T, capital I?
I found Mr. Miami, first of all.
Will Smith?
No. He's
Massimo Cellino.
He paid all of his taxes as this guy, as far as I'm aware. I'm surprised you don't know him, Moscow. He's a TikTok star.
TikTok's a big place.
Oh, okay. I've not been there. But yeah, he's from Miami, as his name suggests. But his mum was from Birmingham, and now he's in Wolverhampton as a student. And Wolves have, for some reason, got him doing these Guide 2 videos before away games. So Leeds is not bad in fairness, because there's some stuff here, but he goes
to some really nice places.
He goes to like Watford and stuff, and
I don't mean not Watford's not a really nice place to go to.
No, but like when in the Watford one, he goes to like Taco Bell and he's looking at Weatherspoons, going, "Oh, this is pretty cool" and stuff. But in Leeds, he went to the stadium, but then he went to the Thackeray Medical Museum, and I just kind of liked him. I know it shouldn't really be my thing, and as much as I'd love to hate him, I can't help but find him quite addictive to watch.
Some Thomas, you're gonna go for Thomas. Thomas works as a night soil collector. He lives alone. I pick up feces. Now let's pick up some feces, baby. We headed to Disease Street. Now we just headed into the Disease Street exhibit. Look at Buddy in the window, though. Now this is a good exhibit. Back in the day, the UK didn't have a really good system for getting rid of waste and stuff like that. So it would get into the meat and stuff like that. Looking over to my left, you'll see like a exhibit of a butcher. You can see the skin on the floor, the furs on the floor. You got the meat hanging. It even smells like it in here. Oh my God. What is going on?
The Thackeray Museum of Medicine has some very interesting exhibits. I even jumped on the theater table to see if I could feel any spirits. Then it was time to head out for afternoon tea, baby. I know that's right.
I know what that's right is his catchphrase. He says it an awful lot.
See, I'm not quite sure what's going on in that clip there, but I really liked it.
I'd quite happily pay for him to give me a tour of the museum. Now, I'm not sure his knowledge is perfect for it.
He was very enthusiastic about Disease Street, wasn't he?
Yeah, at the start, there's like a wheel at the start where I think you pick a character. I've not actually been, which I should have done really, because it's in Leeds. But I think you spin a wheel and then you pick a character, and then you kind of learn about them as you go through it.
The feces collector.
So he's the feces collector.
I'm going to Disease Street. It's the M606 is Disease Street, as it's known locally here.
He lives alone. But then he goes for an afternoon tea, which I don't think he's done before, which is also quite charming.
Afternoon tea had me feeling like, is this all for me? I know that's right. I couldn't wait to dive in, baby.
All right, guys, I got me some Yorkshire tea. Let's just try it out. I'm loving this teacup or this teapot. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. This is my handle, this is my spout. Add some milk to that. I don't know how much. Ooh, that look like enough. And they got sugar cubes, baby. Now, I ain't never have I ever, but I guess that's one sugar. Let's see what we got going on, baby. I believe Yorkshire tea is manufactured here. Where it's made remains a mystery, at least to me. That's some good tea. That is some good tea.
I know that's right.
I love the idea that Wolverhampton is so culturally backward that they have to send him out to places like Taco Bell and for a cup of tea. Look at the world out there.
He somehow makes putting a sugar cube in a cup of tea seem exciting, though.
I know, that's right.
It did make me think it's a long time since I've used a sugar cube. Yeah.
Funny that, because I was at the wedding at the weekend, and that's exactly what, they put sugar cubes on your table for the coffee after the dinner, and I thought I hadn't had a sugar cube in a while, and I'm not a horse.
Because it's a lot of fun to just take them slowly down into the coffee, isn't it? And watch the coffee rise
consume it
into the sugar cube, and then it disintegrates, and then you can stir it. It's quite a meditative.
I know, that's right.
Thing. Yes, I was wondering if there's times in this where it sounds like he's got that on like a pre-recorded button. It's like, this tea's bloody. I'm bored now. That cream bun's rubbish. I know that's right. Christ, what am I doing with my life? Where are they going to send me next? Watford. Oh, thank God there's a Taco Bell. I know that's right. I hate myself.
I know that's right, baby. Yeah. I quite enjoyed him anyway. Admittedly, when you've heard him say, I know that's right, a dozen times in the space of 2 minutes, you do start kind of going...
He's gone from being cutesy to Jedward there.
I think it probably works on TikTok because that's very short videos.
Yeah.
Whereas put into what is almost a documentary of 7 minutes in Leeds, it does wear a bit thin. But I enjoyed him all the same.
Yeah, he's very good. And there'll probably be a rush of people going to Thackeray Medical Museum now. You're going to take the twins, aren't you?
Of course I am. It'd be a great day out.
This is Disease Street, boys. Here, boys, this is Disease Street. Go collect some feces.
Going to tell him that the UK didn't have good sewage or something, which is basically as well as he explains it.
Show a butcher with skin on the floor.
Right, on to Finners then. Tell me about Finners.
Finners, he's a man who's recording live in Elland Road, and he's starting on, he's talking about the atmosphere, and it's the start of the game, and then it's in the last 20 minutes, but he's a bit overwhelmed by it.
Right, they're not used to hearing people doing the old...
Seems not.
No.
Yeah, Molyneux is quite quiet.
I drove past Molyneux when I was in Wolverhampton. It's always a thrill to see a football ground, isn't it? It's always a nice little treat. It didn't look like I expected it to look.
How did you expect it to look?
I always expect football stadiums to be in a big open expanse. I think maybe because Elland Road is in a big open expanse, and yet it's kind of tucked in behind some flats in the university area. Is Molyneux?
It should have been big. I think we discussed last year about how the plans to turn it into like the biggest stadium in the world, and it was going to have a roof and frosted windows and all kinds of, like, between the stands and the pitch.
Yeah,
it's going to have glazing and all that kind of stuff, and it never really happened. So in the
you can have glazing between the stands and the pitch.
Yes.
When was that?
Like, it was a 50s plan. I'm sure there was some
it's
stadiums...
50 stadium plan, where the referees are in the box over the pitch and all that jazz.
I'm sure there were some stadiums that actually did it and just realised condensation was immediately a big issue.
This is a real problem. None of us can see everything.
And also in the 50s, probably didn't have proper, like, laminated shatterproof glass either, so occasionally if a hard kick went into the crowd, you would get a shard of glass in your face. But, you know.
Anyway, back to Finners.
All part of the thrill.
Anyway, Finners is he's enjoying the atmosphere and enjoying Elland Road after talking about stadiums.
Proper stadium, proper atmosphere. By proper stadium, I mean it looks like it's about to fall down. I'm very scared. But yeah, loud, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah. It's good. It's good atmosphere.
Oh, the atmosphere in here. Oh, the passion, what's the word? It's electric. Just hot, you can't. They don't give you a second. Still 20 minutes left. I can't breathe.
Can't breathe.
I can't breathe.
Good. It's nice to know. I mean, I know that, you know, times are a bit tough for us when we're languishing at the bottom of the Premier League, but it's nice to know that we're well thought of in that regard. Isn't it?
And we've got a bit of something about us, I think.
Yeah.
You saw that game last night at the Emirates. No one was having a great time there, were they? No away fans are gonna come away from there going, oh, what a place. I know Cody Drama seems to enjoy playing there, but no one else ever enjoys it.
Right. So is this the penalty then?
This is him doing the penalty. I mainly like this because you hear a really good roar, and normally you hear this from people filming it in the Leeds end, which means you can normally hear one person more than anyone else going, ah! Ah! Or something, and it kind of ruins it.
Who do you sit near?
Whereas this, because it's in the away end, you get silence from the people nearby, but you can just hear the full stadium doing it, and it's
look forward
great.
to this. Here we go.
Leeds penalty. Probably about 3 minutes to go at a time. It did look like a little bit of a penalty. Come on, Star.
They scored.
Did I hear some bad language in the crowd?
I hope not.
We might need to apologise for. I think just as he was about to take it, there may have been a C-bomb in the background.
That's warmed my cockles as hearing that.
Nice, isn't it?
It wasn't that was being...
I didn't
shouted.
notice. I just noticed the passion and volume from the Leeds fans. I did tweet something like this from the Square Ball account. It was somebody up on the gantry, I think, had filmed. It wasn't you, was it, Moscow, on the gantry that filmed this one? That's the gantry gong, sorry.
I think it was LS11.
Yeah.
Filming. Their dudes.
Yeah, so I linked to their media on Twitter, and it's that half second of intake of breath just as he's running up to strike it, because you know you've got to breathe in before you shout no or go yes, and everyone, like 36,000 people or whatever, all went at the same time, and there's just that moment of silence, before the ball hits the net, and it was just amazing. I enjoyed that, and you could hear it in that clip. So I'll rewind 30 seconds, and you can hear it again. Right, okay, next one.
So Finn he's back home now, giving his overview of the game, and he still seems to quite like us and be very reasonable about everything.
They need to stop doing this, don't they?
Yeah, fair play to Leeds. I thought the atmosphere, their performance was brilliant, and they deserved a point. I hate being sort of nice, but yeah, you've got to say they were. If you could not throw coins at our players, that would be ideal. But you can't have everything. Great away day nonetheless, another one to tick off. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the video.
That was very reasonable of him.
Yeah, you can't have everything, can you?
No.
I don't think he's probably acknowledging, like, yeah, they kind of deserved it. Some of them, those fake cramps, they deserved a bit of stuff thrown at them.
Yeah.
I think we're just encouraging them to get up, weren't we?
There should maybe be some kind of exchange system where you can get some soft fruit on your way into the South Stand and throw that instead, so you at least get to take the anger out, but with less of a risk.
I'm just thinking, was it when Luis Figo went from Barcelona to Real Madrid, or the other way around, and
threw a pig's head at him?
Yeah, and I believe, was it a scooter as well? And mostly through a moped.
I don't know if I can't.
Keith Stroud had been straight up to clear that off the pitch.
Have you seen? Sorry, just on Stroud. Have you seen? There's a petition being launched by QPR fans for Stroud never to referee their games again, because he's not making any more friends in the football.
Good to know he's
league.
still popular.
He made a pig's ear of their game. Sorry, you were going to say about the moped.
I don't think I can't remember if it was Figo, but certainly a moped being thrown off the upper tier. It was. I don't think it was on the pitch. I think it was into the lower tier of some fans.
God Christ. So not as funny now.
I remember being at Leeds Festival I guess it was probably 2000. I think it was the first year I'd ever had been, and Daphne and Celeste played, and someone threw a wheelchair at them.
Oh,
which is great commitment. I would say. I don't know who's it. I don't know if someone. I mean, if someone had been tipped out of it first, I guess that makes it a bit more sinister. But I like to think someone was so pissed off they stood up out of it and just wanged it on stage.
I mean, if people get annoyed with me for sticking up for Tyler Roberts, let's not go too far down the Daphne and Celeste angle. One of them was blind in one eye, and people are throwing a wheelchair at them for crying out loud. UGLY, you ain't got no alibi.
Right. This guy, Dazzling Dave, the Wolves fan Dazzling Dave. I bet he's fun at parties.
We had him last year. He was the one who described Traore's goal as a thunderstrike.
Oh, right.
But he's outside in the kind of southwest corner, and he's also another Leeds fanboy.
The Premier League, it needs to make bastards of all of us, doesn't it? Everyone needs to be bastards like our fans are. Anyway, let's hear from Dazzling Dave.
They literally just come out the ground, Elland Road, as you can imagine. And the first thing that I've got to say is it's 1-1, obviously. It's a late goal from Leeds. It's a penalty. But you have to say, in all fairness, being a Wolves fan, I actually think they deserved a point, Leeds. I thought their crowd, actually, it's the best away crowd that I've been to, fans, in terms of their singing, that I've been to any of the games this season. They really got behind their team and spurred their team on. And second half, it was pretty much one-way traffic.
Stop being nice about us. Because I like to think if that was us, we'd say, diving little prick about Gelhardt, and would say, they didn't deserve that. I'm glad we shithoused our way through that game.
I mean, I'm sure if they'd have won, they'd have said, oh, we saw the game out and all this sort of stuff. But there was generally an acknowledgement that they were kind of lucky. And then I went on to Wolves Fancast, which is a Wolves podcast, leaving YouTube, trying to find some sort of annoyance, but not really.
No.
This was they were talking about the tackle on Raphinha here, and again, just being incredibly fair about it.
If you were trying to take off your old gold tinted spectacles, could there be a claim for a red card there? Anybody want to be the fall guy on that decision?
It's 100% a red card. I mean, like you, I couldn't understand what all the fuss was about. I thought, well, it's handball. What are you crying for? I didn't see. It looked nothing to me.
Yeah.
Until I've got home and watched Match of the Day half cut last night, and yeah, and you can't be tackling like that in 2021. It's just silly. It might be accidental, but it's reckless and it's a red card. Simple as. I can't believe he didn't even go. Well, I can't, because they're completely inept. But the fact that there was no even talk about checking red card from VAR, just completely baffling.
Have we got anything contentious from the Wolves fans? Come on, we need something.
They're mostly annoyed about their own team. That's the thing, because they started the season attacking, and then
the Peri Burnley.
But they weren't winning any games, and now they've gone into this thing where they're getting results, but they've gone very defensive and very boring to watch and doing all the things. So I don't think they're necessarily enamoured about the time wasting and the feigning injuries that was going on, like we've seen from other fans in the past, like when Sheffield Wednesday were doing it to us in the Championship and all that fans were like, that's the best thing we've ever seen.
Which it was.
Well, like Burnley fans really kind of relish it, don't they? It's like, yes, we got away with some should have been red cards and then kept the ball in a corner for 70 minutes, and they're like, yes, that was a good day out. Whereas,
do you want Scooter update, by the way?
Yeah.
Before, and I've realised this was 2001, so I don't want to give any...
Scooter, another 2000s music
style, group. So I don't want to give any of our...
What's your favourite Scooter song?
They did a cover of Ticento by... I can't remember the name of... the name has escaped me of the original Italian group that performed in the 80s.
There's a really good website, by the way, for looking up music called everyhit.com.
Ticento, T-I, it means I feel you.
I'm now on...
It has a brilliant lyric in it, which when it translates, it goes, I feel you, beautiful undersea statue.
Yeah. I'm looking back at Scooter's first...
Is it Maria Bahar?
Well, I've got Move Your Ass, which hit number 23 in October 1995. Rebel Yell, he did a version of that. May 1996. No, just after we lost to Villa in the. Does it not ring any bells in the League Cup final? No. He did I'm Raving later that year. Then he's just left it for a bit. Then 6 years later,
do we know if he's still raving or is
number
it stopped?
2, the big hit, The Logical Song.
That was the one, wasn't it? Mattia Bazar, Ticento, they covered that. I Feel You or I Hear You, and then they got the singer back in as the plot of the video as she's performing at an opera and gets shot, even though members of Scooter are acting as like a security team. One of them dives in front of the bullets to try and save her, but he misses in slow motion and it still goes into her anyway. So what you take from this is that if you let Scooter cover one of your songs and they're like, come and perform it for us, make sure somebody doesn't like want to shoot you because there'll be no help. But the Scooter in question in 2001 was Internazionale supporters stole it from an Atlanta fan outside the San Siro. As this report points out, they smuggled it into the stadium.
How do you smuggle a scooter in the stadium?
Past the very rigorous security checks, set it on fire, and then threw it from the second tier onto a thankfully empty section of the lower stand, aiming for the pitch. So it was a burning stolen scooter.
So you got theft, arson, what, criminal damage? That's quite a lot to go at.
Yeah, but so don't get ideas, anybody who's never heard of that before.
Did you enjoy Scooter's most recent UK chart hit, which you all know is...
Mr. Scooter.
No.
I Am Scooter.
I'll give you a clue so you can
the
see...
Scoot Boys.
No, I'll give you a clue. June 2008. What were you doing in June 2008?
Was the Euros on?
Probably.
I don't know.
What was your point? What were you listening to then in your headphones? Was
Christ,
it Scoot? What was it? Jumping
scooters.
Jumping all
over the scooters.
Nearly jumping all over the
world.
Yes, well remembered.
Oh, okay.
How did it go?
Here we go, jumping all over the world.
But probably. Anyway, back to propaganda.
Yeah, Talking Wolves were up to who are. There's a little bit of annoyance in this, which is nice, but the
can we play the mixed up kid, because I want to know what this kid's mixed up about.
Well, just about his general opinions of what happened in the game and where Wolves' position is, and I don't know, he does have a little bit of hate for Leeds, which is something.
Is this the folly of youth we're going to hear?
I'd say so.
I hope so.
Yeah, that penalty was just painful because with the quality that we have in our squad and how Bruno wants to play, we should be beating Leeds by about 5 or 6 because Leeds are doing terribly right now. Probably going through a second season syndrome. Bielsa's looking sort of desperate, I guess, because there's the style of play at Leeds is really sporadic. Like, they're playing super narrow. That Gelhardt guy, he really, really, really changed the game around. I have to give props to him because he revived Leeds, and you could make an excuse of, the atmosphere of Leeds because you know, the atmosphere's pretty good, like egging them on, but so was ours. Yeah, I can see why everyone hates Leeds now. I remember when Cody got smacked with the ball, like, it was Rodrigo who had a shot, and Cody went down because he hit his head, and then everyone's booing Cody for being down, like, come on.
And that's why everyone hates Leeds, because we were booing their player who cheated to stop an attack.
I wasn't listening to any of that. What film was he watching? Is he hearing in the background? He's got a film on the telly. I was trying to work out what it was. I didn't pay any attention to his whatever he was saying.
We play Super Narrow, apparently.
Isn't that a Nintendo game?
Very good.
Possibly.
I just there was a lot of. I know it's just stream of consciousness when you kind of do these things, but there was a lot to go at in that. Too much for me.
Just drifting about. And I don't know where he comes to the opinion that they should be beating us 5 or 6-0.
Yeah, no. Or Bielsa indeed looking desperate. I mean, he looks like a man who's facing challenges at the minute, but that's what football's about, isn't it? Anyway, they were mainly very reasonable. So, but this is, as I said, this was like a compilation of clips, and it goes from one person who is kind of being fairly philosophical about it, accepting maybe draws a fair result, into someone who's very angry, which is nice.
You could probably say karma's come and got us a little bit, but yeah, not the end of the world.
For 45 fucking minutes, we were holding back, trying to contain a Leeds team which is so good at attacking. Who'd have thought we concede a last-minute goal? It's written in the stars. It's just frustrating more than anything.
And on the same channel is the lad who's saying they should have beaten us by 5 or 6. Yet the other one's saying,
I mean, they're all separate people. In fairness, they don't have they don't speak with one voice. I don't think there is
no coherence.
There's not a sort of narrative direction.
One wolf howls and the others all answer. Right. Yeah, there's that. I think, and it does fit. The guy who was angry is angry about them not trying to beat us 5 or 6-0. And I think the other one is probably saying the same, that they are capable in his mind, his crazy, messed up mind, of beating us 5 or 6-0 if they weren't doing this sudden defensive stuff that they're all mad about.
Right, let's go into the wider world of propaganda now then, which is where we look at all the other stuff that's been said around the internet.
Were there any other games this weekend?
Oh, may have been.
Anything else to enjoy?
Who are we picking on now then?
Well, it's from the kickoff again, which was a guy we went to last week, Adam McCullough, who, if the setup they have for the kickoff is a lot of people around a table watching the games. I think
it's one of the true Geordie shows, isn't it?
I think they've got several screens on the go, but he is the only Man United fan here. He's with a Liverpool fan and Chelsea fan.
Idiot Rory's
there. But fair play to the guy who was just winding him up here. This is after Pogba has just been sent off, and he's playing it. I think it's the Liverpool fan, the guy who's sort of taking the piss, and he's doing it with such an understatement in such an understated way that it's just beautiful.
Pogba should have started anyway, you fucking dick.
Did come on to stabilise things.
15 minutes.
Yeah. Did come on to stabilise things at half time. To be fair, he did stabilise his own foot underneath Diego.
That wasn't a red. Come on, bro. How was that?
No, it wasn't.
His second foot was under Cater's.
No, but you can't blame me for having fun with this.
Bro, do what the fuck you want. I don't care, but that's never a red card, bro.
But it is in this scenario because he has just been sent off.
That's great, but it is because
I mean, but he has been sent off. I don't know. So you've got to say yes.
We should say we had loads of requests for Johnny United, who's the kid from Bradford who was very, very angry. It was the other week, wasn't it? And he's very all out. He's in that camp, and he's the one who signs off all his videos. After he'll immediately go from all right, then don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. See you later.
Have a nice day. Yeah, anyway, he didn't seem to have done anything. He did some live Twitter stuff. I can't remember what it's called now, where you do the audio. So I did try and listen into some of those, but there were loads of other people talking, and he wasn't just shouting over them, which kind of ruined it, because that's what I want.
That's what you want, isn't
it? He was actually quite enjoying this weekend when I looked at his Twitter timeline, because loads of people were saying, "Oh, actually, do you know what, mate?
It proves his point.
You were kind of right," and he was like, "I know I'm right." I could imagine him just yelling at him.
He said so, yeah. All right, thanks, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Anyway, okay, who have we got then?
We've got
Webby and O'Neill.
Webby, yeah.
All right, yeah. It's like the Churchill dog, wasn't it? It was Webby and O'Neill. Yeah. One of them will make a point and the other will go, yeah.
Webby goes, yeah, and O'Neill talks. But this is Webby, and he's taking it well.
It was an absolute disgraceful performance. Tony, I don't think felt this bad when my old man passed away.
It's quite a claim.
Wow. Oh, wow. That is, yeah.
They really don't like Liverpool, do they?
No. I mean, I understand. Like, my dislike of Liverpool went up a lot when they beat us and all the fallout from Klopp being on the pitch and Elliott and all that. But when it came to this game on Sunday, it's just orders of magnitude.
Big Liverpool fan.
Yeah. I was like, they're all right. Fair enough. They've made them look foolish.
Although the one, I think they may have a villain nomination that we'll be discussing in the next pod, but they were a bit annoying that they didn't make it 10.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit let down by Liverpool. So maybe that's a good thing that we can come away hating both teams.
Yeah.
One for...
It's very distracting, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Carry on.
No, I can't. I don't have...
I can't.
I don't have his fortitude. I can't just carry on while somebody's in the background.
Well, what else have we got?
This is Webby just elaborating on how bad it was, but I just enjoyed several things in this.
With Manchester United Football Club, you don't have the deserved right to win any game of football, but you've got the deserved right to fight your ass and your balls off for those supporters in that club. And it's Liverpool at home, the most station enemy, and you've thrown up a performance like that. It's absolute disgrace. And those players want to go home now or refund all those people who've been in that ground today. You know what I mean? There's people still in there, and he said, don't get me wrong, so a lot of people left. That's their prerogative, fair enough. But there's still people singing on 80, 90 minutes there. They don't deserve that. I just met 2 kids in the lift from New York. New York City. It's not the other side of Salford. It's New York City. They've gone to bed.
Great.
Just gone to bed.
That's how bad it was. Come from New York, they've just gone to bed. That's amazing.
I think players need to go home or refund them, fight the balls off their ass off, whatever it was. But yeah, that's how bad it was because they recorded this in I can't remember what it's called, the Scum Hotel, the one that
I think that's what it's called.
Those wrong'uns all own.
Hotel football of all things.
Yes, so they record in.
They've gone to bed.
Hotel football.
Are they supposed to refund do they refund the entire trip? It's like Man United lost 5-0 to Liverpool. Admittedly, we had a day out at Tatton Park and it was very nice. The deal was beautiful. The house was great. But we still want the flights refunded. And
they had a month-long pass on the subway. So you got to divide up the cost of that by 30 for that day's trip. Yeah. Demand it. Demand it back, New York City fans.
Otherwise, they're just going to bed.
Right. And we've got...
Do you think as well, I'm fascinated by these two. If they're showing a room and you're that bored,
Joey and Chandler,
annoyed by the game, are they both just like lying face down on single beds in a hotel room just in silence? Because
I believe Gary Neville must pipe his own voice around that hotel.
I wonder if what's happened here is Webby's gone, I'll take you out for a drink, lads, and they've gone, oh no, we're actually going to bed.
Time difference has really done us in. Yeah.
Oh, well, have a good drink. Good drink.
Because I know they say like a problem shared is a problem half, but I don't think travelling halfway around the world to watch my favourite team lose 5-0 and then can you imagine then thinking I'm just going to go back to the hotel and just like lie down for a while? But I don't think that would be. I would feel like I was getting over it if there was somebody else just next to me on another bed in the room doing exactly the same thing. Just a pair of you, just like
a cell of sadness.
Misery doesn't need that kind of company. It's just it's a little bit too. He's still upset. Yeah. Although, I suppose the idea that Webby and O'Neill are like the Eric and Ernie of Man United fans.
Go on then. Right, United view.
This is a man who, I mean, people talk about the levels of entitlement sometimes with Man United fans. This guy seems to have an opinion that they could have just not bothered.
I mean, you were right, by the way. You've said in previous weeks there's kind of we're Manchester United vibe about a lot of this.
Manchester United Football Club.
And then they did, so we've got no divine right to win, but we are Manchester United.
It was interesting with Webby that he kind of went in a completely different direction from where that usually goes. It's normally, we're Manchester United, we expect to win. And he's like, we don't have any divine right. We've got a divine right to arse some balls.
Yeah. Right then, let's hear this.
15 minutes in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then what's the point coming? Second half, what was the point in sending us out? Don't settle it, just void the game. Let's settle for a 3-0 defeat and refuse to send them out. What was the point in sending us out? What was the point?
What was it? 4-0 at half time, wasn't it? And you're thinking
it's take a 3-0 void, we don't come out, we refuse to play, and it goes down as 3-0. No, it goes down as 5. I'm like, oh God. There was no point in us coming out.
I don't think you can do that, can you? I mean, if you don't play the second half, the sanctions would be massive. It's not just that, well,
they'd be
never
picking
mind,
on
lads.
them, though.
Yeah.
Oh, they're picking on us. we didn't want to play the second half. We don't have to.
I do have a crumb of understanding for what is the least worst way we can get out of this.
Yeah, but you can't just not accept a defeat bigger than 3-0. You can't just go, oh, well, I'll tell you what, we'll call it 3-0.
Yeah, if they end up staying up on goal difference, then questions would be asked. From it would be the Carlos Tevez thing. Warnock, the ghost of Warnock, would be coming looming back at them.
Just imagine it was cutting back to the Sky studio as well, and Dave Jones is sat there going, well, Manchester United, they've opted not to play the second half.
Yeah, and the idea that that's somehow a less worse scenario, because the repercussions of that would be much, much worse than...
You'd have points deductions.
5-0. It would be, and even then, like what they're going to say about, I know Solskjaer, to my mind, looked hilarious throughout the second half. But what are the likes of Webby and O'Neill going to say if their manager is what we need is we need arse and balls and fight, whereas Solskjaer's just like, we're not going to play the second half, actually we're just going to go and get changed and go home. That doesn't work. Nobody's going to be happy about that happening apart from
Solskjaer's
this weirdo going like, oh well, at least we only lost 3-0 and a 10 points deduction.
I like how Solskjaer's become a slightly posh butler.
Yeah, that's not how he sounds.
Jeeves and Worcester or something.
The guy who's actually...
Well, how to explain to somebody, if somebody who'd never heard Ole Gunnar Solskjaer speak, what is that voice? Because I know there was the Jan Molby thing in the 80s where he adopted a Scouse accent, but Solskjaer doesn't even have a Manc accent. It's just weird.
I think it was Jack Calvert I saw on Twitter describe him as sounding like a Russian who lives in Barnsley.
Yeah.
Which is a fair... When he says, the club, there's something about the club. It's just very odd the way...
There are hints. It strays between Norwegian and then Manc, which actually comes out as something completely different, doesn't it? It's like someone's put all the ingredients into the cauldron and stirred it, and that's what's come out, yeah.
The bloke who wanted this game to just not happen in the second half, I'm pretty sure just before this, they speak to his daughter, who is about 7 or 8 years old and infinitely more knowledgeable and sensible about this. I've not included her because she's not actually funny enough. She just seems like...
better than most of the pundits on telly.
Just seems fine, to be honest. She's just like, it's
them
kind
pressing triggers. Like the Greenwood just wasn't responding, and McTominay never catches that.
But I love the shape out of possession.
But instead, we get a dad who wants to go for half time, and then
just don't play.
And then this is his second bit of his plan.
The passion's gone. That's Liverpool there. There was no 50-50
crunching into there was nothing.
There was nothing from a big 2-4 tackle, let's go for it, let's get the crowd.
It was a bad tackle and he got sent off, but
I didn't see it, boy. When you go to VAR, you can't. You can't see.
But I mean, that's the only kind of get in there, and do you know what I mean?
It's pointless doing that 5-0. Do that in the first minute.
So get sent off in the first minute.
Yeah, get a man sent off first minute.
Yeah, I love how he realises his point has kind of got away from him because that's what happened, and he got sent off. And it's like, yeah, but just do it better.
To be fair to Pogba, he didn't wait, did he? No, he was pretty quick after coming on. Made sure he got off again. And what's he saying? That's the only one. I mean, Fernando should have gone as well, and Ronaldo before half time. I don't know how you don't get sent off for what he was up to. So he's got everything he wants. A bunch of petulant wankers kicking lumps out of the other team because they're losing, just dropping short of sulking in their hotel room because it's not fair at half time, while the children of these sorry people are left to pick up the pieces and try to go, well, all right, if you're going to go to your room and cry, Daddy, don't forget you've got work in the morning. So try and sort yourself out before then. I'll get my own tea. I'll hoover up. It's all right.
I'm reading Inverting the Pyramid. I'll do my own bedtime story. It's fine. Don't worry. I was just going to say, I know we've got our own problems at the minute. Every football club does, or feels like the world's against you and all that. But isn't it just nice just to enjoy what's happening to them and the entitlement that underpins it? And the fact that they've hit that ridiculous sweet spot. Where we were saying this on the match ball last night. They've kind of hit this sweet spot of he always does just enough to stay in the job, does Solskjaer, just enough, but never enough to take them where they need to be.
Nothing lasts forever, does it? They had a good run, and now they're kind of doing what Liverpool did, aren't they? When they won everything for ages, and then their bad spell was still mainly finishing like 6th, 3rd, 4th, whatever. But it was never quite good enough for him, was it? So just enjoy this for the next 20 years. It's fine.
Let's hope so. That wraps up this week's episode of Propaganda in two halves. The Leeds fan feedback is the first half of it. If you haven't watched or listened to that, go over a checkout of that. And we will do more propaganda after Norwich. So that'll be next week. We'll obviously have the match ball after the game and all that. And watch out for the weekly show coming your way, where we'll look through the Leeds United news, pick heroes and villains, and preview the Norwich game. And we'll see you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.